Well, good morning, everyone, and thank you for joining us on this special occasion. My name is Jackie Lewis, and I'm the Vice Chancellor for Advancement here at Mizzou. And I'm pleased to be joined by University of Missouri President Moon Choi, our Executive Director of Entrepreneurship Programs, Greg Beer, and Doctor of Veterinary Medicine candidate and student entrepreneur, Libby Martin, to recognize some very important supporters of Mizzou on this special day. Today's guest of honor is an extraordinary example of the difference individuals can make when they have a passion for student success. Robert Griggs earned a degree in horticulture economics from Mizzou in 1977. I was giving you a little younger credit there. In 1979, he founded Trinity Products, steadily building the O'Fallon-based company into a national leader in the production of large structure spiral weld steel pipe. Through his own experience creating a business from ground up, Robert realized the true importance of teaching the skills necessary to exceed to entrepreneurially minded students. Robert has been incredibly giving of his time, serving on the advisory boards for the MU Entrepreneurship Alliance and the Center for Sales and Customer Development, and by frequently opening the Trinity Products facility to students willing to learn about the industry or seeking his mentorship. He and Shelly have been incredibly generous to MU in so many ways. The Griggs family legacy is one of supporting entrepreneurship and empowering students to bet on themselves and their ideas. We're incredibly honored that Robert and Shelly have chosen to continue putting that passion into action right here at Mizzou, time and time again. For today's announcement, I'd now like to turn the floor over to University of Missouri President Moon Choi.
Thank you very much, Jackie, and it's so great to be here to celebrate this important investment in our students. Before I get started, let me ask if I can ask the Griggs family to stand. Shelly, AJ, Jill, Bo, and Amanda. Thank you for your support. And for those of you that know the Griggs family, thank you. And for those of you that know the Griggs family, know that they have been incredible supporters of Mizzou, and especially our student athletes. And they believe very strongly that creating that championship culture obviously starts with student athletes, and student success is a key component to that. Now today, we also recognize that through many decades, the Griggs family has been so involved in innovation and entrepreneurship. Just today, I learned that the company that they founded had sales of about $2 million in 1993. But today, the company, the family business, has sales over $250 million. That takes a lot of work. And both Robert and Shelly have passed on that innovation and entrepreneurship gene to their children and their spouses. And we look forward to more Mizzou Tigers coming out of the Griggs family. So thank you. Now, they're helping us today celebrate another investment to establish the Robert and Shelly Griggs Family Innovator Nexus that's going to be located just to the southwest of us. And that'll be a facility where students who are graduate students studying engineering, business, journalism, or the arts can come together and bring the best ideas that can flower into the next innovation that can start a company like the company that Robert and Shelly started. And that investment now, today, to create that nexus, puts the overall giving of the Griggs family to over $1.1 million, all to benefit our students. So Robert, Shelly, Griggs family, thank you. And a little bit later, you're going to hear from one of those entrepreneurs that have benefited from prior support from families like the Griggs family, and that's Libby Martin. And the reason that this investment is so important is because the learning that our students receive at the University of Missouri happens beyond the classroom and the laboratory. It happens in Nexus like the one that we're going to be visiting shortly, so that we can provide our students with the most up-to-date, real-world experience so that they can be successful in the future. So I'm very pleased to announce this new Nexus from the Griggs family. And it's now my pleasure to turn the floor over to the person that helped to get this started, along with the team led by Bill Turpin, Mr. Greg Beer. Greg?
Thank you, President Choi. Robert, Shelly, AJ and Bo, Amanda and Jill, thanks for what you've done for our Tigers. Robert, you have consistently provided your time and your mentorship to students and to me as a business owner, so thank you. And today it is our honor to create the Griggs Innovators Nexus here in the Student Center. Robert, you've been involved with the Entrepreneurship Alliance, our chapter of the Collegiate Entrepreneurs Organization, the Sales Institute, and Entrepreneur Quest. In the 2 short years since we started Entrepreneur Quest, your involvement has already impacted 176 students from the College of Agriculture, Food, and Natural Resources, the College of Arts and Science, the True-Life College of Business, the College of Education and Human Development, the College of Engineering, the School of Health Professions, the College of Human and Environmental Science, the Missouri School of Journalism, the School of Law, the School of Medicine, the Sinclair School of Nursing, and the College of Veterinary Medicine. And for those of you keeping track, that is every single academic school and college at Mizzou that Robert has had an impact with. Robert, I know I speak for Natalie Thomas, Annette Kendall, Wayne Keene, Dean Vinze, and the athletics department when I say many, many, many students, thank you for being a Tiger. As President Choi said, your latest gift creates the Griggs Innovators Nexus. The Nexus, located just around the corner, provides about 4,000 square feet of dedicated entrepreneurship space to any student on campus. It is centrally located in the heart of Mizzou, in the MU Student Center, with over 16,000 visitors per day. The Nexus includes an ideation room, a student conference room, 3 retail student storefronts, 2 office incubators, and several meeting areas for our student entrepreneurs to collaborate and to host CEO teams, and several spaces to practice venture pitches. The value the Nexus adds creates collision opportunities for like-minded students to meet, network, and work together during the venture creation process. The Nexus will host startup workshops, as well as opportunities for student entrepreneurs to drop in for clinic hours with the Entrepreneurship Legal Clinic. In just 2 very short, very strange years, our CEO students and our EQ students have done some amazing things already. 2 of them, Sierra May and Ed Gee, have just completed a cohort at Arch Grants in St. Louis, where they were awarded $50,000 for their ventures. Another student, Drew Patel, has just raised $3.5 million for his latest venture at Risk Harbor. He's still a student. Another, Dan Hoffman, co-founder of Nora Health, is doing beta testing with the University of Missouri Hospital. Trent Esser and Hayden Seidel, the co-founders of Printerior, a 3D printed company that does furniture, have moved into the Del Mar Maker District in St. Louis. One of those Entrepreneur Quest winners was Libby Martin. Jim Spain, our Vice Provost for Undergraduate Studies and Animal Sciences professor, introduced me to Libby when she was a young undergraduate studying animal science with a really cool idea. Now, Libby is a doctor of veterinary medicine candidate and the founder and CEO of Caving Technologies. And nothing is more impactful for us to hear firsthand the impact entrepreneurship has had on a student's career trajectory. So ladies and gentlemen, let me please welcome Miss Libby Martin, very soon to be Dr. Libby Martin.
In October of 2017, I nervously boarded a plane with some standout Mizzou students and a professor who was giving me the first opportunity to pitch my idea on a stage in front of a live audience. What I thought was just going to be a fun weekend out of town turned into one of the most impactful experiences of my college career. I was a junior in college who didn't know much about the whole entrepreneurship thing, but I did have an idea centered around cows that I was really passionate about. Our group arrived at the CEO Global Pitch Competition, and I had no idea how anything was going to play out. And I never knew I could be so nervous over a 90-second elevator pitch. It was a rigorous few days, constructing business models, perfecting our pitches, working with students from all over the country, and standing on stage in front of judges with some pretty impressive backgrounds. Taking home fourth place helped me to realize that an idea I had could be something bigger, and without this opportunity, I'm really not sure I would have ever developed the confidence to pursue what is now Calving Technologies. Today, those students I went to that global pitch competition with remain some of my best friends, biggest supporters, and some of the most successful young adults I know. Joel Harris, who previously worked at Uber and now leads growth at Patient, has increased this Columbia-based startup's growth by 200% since joining in March. B. Doheny, full-time CEO of Astronobeads, which began as a startup here at Mizzou, has now sold her products in over 36 countries. These students are just a few of many whose successes started within the walls of our program here at Mizzou. And it didn't stop there. And I speak for many when I say the professor on that trip, better known as the Director of Entrepreneurship Programs, Greg Beer, has become a lifelong mentor who dedicates himself to supporting us to make our dreams a reality. I haven't been part of any other place where I was surrounded by students who were so supportive of one another. Within the CEO student organization here at Mizzou, I met other like-minded students who stayed up with me countless nights preparing pitch decks and encouraging me through tears or helping me sort out one very messed up pro forma spreadsheet. It's this camaraderie plus the wide array of networking and funding opportunities given to me by Mizzou that have really shaped me and my business. In 2018, Mizzou hosted the first Entrepreneurship Quest competition, which was an opportunity to participate in workshops, networking events, and pitch for seed funding. As both the Mizzou and UM system winner, I can speak to the impact that had on my startup. That was when a farm girl's idea turned into reality and we launched as a business. I had officially caught the bug, and me and my cowhide heels made appearances at Pure Pitch Rally, Regional Venture Challenge, SEC pitch competition, Shark Tank casting calls, and eventually landed a spot in the NextFab Hardware Accelerator. But it didn't stop there. My Mizzou family, Greg, Jim Spain, Bill Turpin, Dean Carolyn Henry, and all the wonderful doctors at the veterinary school here at Mizzou, and Robert Griggs. This family remains our biggest supporters when it comes to conducting field trials and testing our products on real cattle. But what many forget is what lies behind any and every good and successful entrepreneur. It's being given a chance. It's a support system. It's a generous angel investor. It's a compassionate mentor. It's a community who helps you see the bigger picture and encourages you through failure. It's being in a space where you can succeed. And Mizzou has that. And now, with the generous support of Robert and Shelly Griggs' family, Mizzou has the Griggs Innovator Nexus. The Griggs Nexus is where you can collaborate with like-minded students, entrepreneurs, and mentors. The Nexus is a community where you can grow your venture, whether you are from engineering school, a business student, an arts and science grad student, or just a farm girl from California, Missouri. I have been lucky enough to experience that entrepreneurship here at Mizzou, and none of it would be possible without the support like people you in this room here today. I speak on behalf of many when I say thank you. A lot of people have crossed my path in the nearly 8 years as a student at Mizzou, but only a few, many of you who are in this room today, have changed my direction. Thank you for being the reason countless students, past and present, have learned, grown, and succeeded. Your continued support has positively and permanently impacted the trajectory of my career and life. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, please help me welcome Robert Griggs.
Thanks, everyone. I want to thank everyone for coming here. This has always been a passion for me. Mizzou changed my life. I grew up on a farm out in southeast Missouri in the Boot Hill. And Steve Yoakum, who's my buddy here, used to drive me to school when I could barely see over the front dashboard of the car. My buddy Woody Simmons is here, and we played football together, all of us. My brother Robbie is back here in the corner. He's a Mizzou grad. All my family are here, and it's just a great honor for us to be able to help, because I think one of the important missions that you get when you're fortunate enough to have been blessed is to give back. The more you give, the more you receive. We don't give because we want to receive. We give because it makes us feel good. And interestingly, when you give that way, it always seems that my basket gets filled up. I don't know why. And so it starts this course of giving, and giving from a heart, an open heart, and we have so many things that get returned to us. I want to thank the business school. Natalie's there, Jeremy's somewhere here, Aja's here, and Aja's here. I was very, and I told the president this, I was very nervous when Joan left, all right? Joan Gable, now president of University of Minnesota, Joan was so fantastic, all right? And let such a light. Well, we've been blessed. My prayers were answered because Aja has the same passion for entrepreneurs and people, and he realizes, interesting, although he's in charge of the business school, entrepreneurship is not a business school thing. It's a campus-wide project where people show up. You can't go to business school and think you're going to be an entrepreneur. It just doesn't work like that. You're born. And a couple of things that happened to me, I came here knowing I was going to start a business. I don't know why. I didn't know how. I didn't know when. I just knew that I was going to start a business. And this environment here, when I walked across the street through the campus today, this feeling came over me of being back and having that special place, that smell, that feel of academia, of power, of enthusiasm, all right, that this place exudes. And I was excited about it. And I tell this story all the time. Most entrepreneurs don't know how they're going to do what they're going to do. But the same way we could get in a car here at night in Columbia, Missouri, and drive to San Francisco with the lights on, you only have to see 100 feet ahead of you, all right? You don't have to see a mile ahead. And you turn those lights on and you let that light drive you. And you stay in front and you go, I've got this. I can see there and I'll get past this space, right? So you don't have to have all the answers. Entrepreneurship and running a business is basically deals with massive failure constantly, right? And it's your ability to learn from those mistakes, build systems, and build processes. I want to thank my family. My two boys went to school here. I told them they couldn't get in the pipe business because, as their mom would say, it's hard. Jill went to school here. Amanda works for us. I get to see her beautiful face every day. I want to thank my grandkids that I love. One of the grandkids loves me. The other one, not so much. I'm working on that one. I want to thank Shelly, and here's why. When I would come home every night and go, oh my God, she would sit there. She's heard every horror story that can be mentioned about the pipe business. So she's as much my success as anything because she didn't say, I don't want to hear it anymore. I might say that to her occasionally, and I apologize. But she never said, I don't want to hear it anymore. And she sat and went through it, and we've done a lot of great things at Trinity. Now, I want to talk about being involved in entrepreneurship. The president put together the EQ, I think, along with Greg, and I got to be the judge at the very first EQ. And I'm sitting there was 5 of us, and this little bitty girl walks up. She certainly couldn't handle a calf, maybe a cat she could handle. This itty bitty thing walks up, and I'm sitting there, and she pitches this idea. And it is the power of that idea. I sat there immediately and I go, dadgummit, why didn't I think of that? That's the magic of entrepreneurship. When you hear an idea and you go in your head, why didn't I think of that? That is so simple. She comes in, she makes the pitch. She goes, our family had to go out in the field during calving season, sleep in the trucks, because if you lose a calf, you've lost your income, right? And she, having been in veterinarian school, realized that a cow that's calving can get sedentary, their heart rates can change. Why not just put a collar around their neck, me get buzzed on my phone and go, by the way, Maybelle is about to have a calf, I'll drive out. And I'm thinking, man, that's $100 million idea. I go, swear to God, nobody's thought of this? And we see this all the time. In the SEC competition, the total one that I judged, a kid's dad was a lineman for the electric company. And he had gone out with his dad, and they have to measure the loop that's in between each poles. And they're out there with a pole measuring it to the bottom, and the kid says to his dad, I can just put a laser on that thing. You set it on the pole with a stick, and it'll tell you exactly what the distance is. And I go, you won. I was on the phone in California, and we were up. I go, this kid's got it, man. That's the idea, and that's what Mizzou and this place is about. We weren't lucky enough to have that there. And what we have right now is all these beautiful people that can go in there and have that idea. It's not just engineering. It's not just business school. I can always, and I say to our friends, we have a great accounting school, okay? Wonderful accounting school. I can find somebody that can count, okay? Sorry, guys. You can't find somebody with a great idea. All right, that's inspiration, that's power, okay? And so our job here today is to take those kids that walk in the room and give them enough resources to say, well, I'm afraid I'm gonna fail. And you look at them and say, kids, you're failing, all right? And somebody's gonna hit you left and move you right, just keep pushing. I came here today with this, and this is something that dawned on me, and I'm going to take just a couple more minutes. Why should we care? Why? And I get this all the time. People look at me and go, why do you care? I had a friend of mine in business who said, why are you still doing that, right? Why are you still risking? If you knew the right thing to do, shouldn't you just do it? Shouldn't you have the courage to do it? Why we care is because of all the important people that show up in this room and all these young women and men who are going to go off and make America great, okay? America, I've traveled all over the world. It's the greatest country in the world. Do we have our flaws? We have many. And the goal of this is to continue to work on those flaws and get better every day. But there's no place else in the world where a kid can wake up and their mom and dad, no matter who you are, say, you can be president of the United States. And you believe it. And you can start a business and you believe it. That only happens here, not in Germany, okay, not in these places. My brother Robbie lived in England, he has his doctorate, by the way, which I know it's very hard to believe. I barely got through school. But I asked him, what's the difference? And he said, people go to work for a company and show up, right? And they just work there forever. In America, you go to a company and you don't like your boss, you go, I'm gonna go do a better idea. I had a boss who cheated me out of $5,000 in commissions. I walked into my boss's office and said, I'm quitting. He said, great, let's quit together. And we started a business for $15,000. And as the guy reminded me today, with $15,000 in the yellow pages, for all the kids in here that don't know what the yellow pages are, okay? You used to have to call Southwestern Bell in the city of Houston and say, I'll pay you $5, send me the yellow pages. And we bought every yellow page in America and we would go through it, and that's how we found our leads. So today, along with my boys' help, they've been here for 15 years. I wrote in here, when they showed up, we were probably selling 30 to 50 million. And this year we're going to sell 200 to 250, easily 250. So they looked at me the other day and walked in and said, we're the reason this is all successful. I'm only teasing. So I want to thank you all for showing up today. I ask you why we should care. We should care because of all the good things we give back. And why should we give? You give because it makes you feel good, because it's important. And you give, and if you give well enough and hard enough, because it'll help fill your basket. It'll help fill your basket spiritually, which is just as important as monetarily. And when you give and have that feeling of giving, good things, great things can happen to you. I'm so glad and fortunate our family has the wherewithal to give this and help everybody. President, it's great seeing you. Thank you so much. And Greg has been my friend for a long, long time. And I want to thank you all very much. I appreciate it.
Robert, thank you.
Thank you.
Great speech.
Yeah,
Great
thank
speech.
you.
Robert, thank you. We love your passion, and we're so grateful for your generosity. And thank you to Shelly and the entire family for being with us today and for all you do for Mizzou. Your commitment to the future of student entrepreneurship at Mizzou is remarkable. And thank you once again for your trust in the University of Missouri to steward this tremendous gift. Supporting our budding entrepreneurs is crucial, and you've set an incredible example for others to follow. We are so thankful for the philanthropic support of our alumni and friends who are committed to making our shared vision a reality, as well as the chance to get together and celebrate these incredible milestones. So we'd like to invite you, our special guests, to attend the grand opening, as President Choi mentioned, of the Griggs Innovation Nexus at the Shack here at MU's Student Center. That's at 4 p.m. today. Thanks for joining us this morning. We have refreshments, and so just enjoy one another's company. Thanks again.